Hey, hi. There's a question someone asked. I thought that was helpful to see if I can post a little bit more information about how to frame up this assignment. So we have one person that put the paper in, so that's great for them. Appreciate that. Let me take a look and see. I have to go into edit in order to really be able to show you. So when I look at the instructions, what I'm doing is I'm under an assumption that you've read all the lessons so far and have some knowledge and some education to be able to take this particular assignment on. So there's a research question here. Um, what I tend to avoid, what I'd like you to tend to avoid is don't do this study. This is not for you to do. This is completely and utterly a fantasy. Um, you might write it like you did it, but you don't need to go and talk to anybody, or it's all just an exercise in thinking. So here is the research question, and you can Google research question, and you can Google hypotheses. You can look at them in your lessons so that you have a better handle on some of these terms. And it asks you a question. So suppose you have the whole range of research techniques and methods at your disposal: naturalistic observation, correlational studies, experimental design, surveys, so on and so forth. And you have all the time and money. What's your perfect fantasy of a study for this? And here, if you're working with independent and dependent variables, that would mean that you're doing experimental design. So you would set up one study. Now choose two different research methods. So really, when you talk about independent and dependent, you're just saying I'm doing an experiment. However, you can also frame up, your research question. What do you want to explore? And if you want to explore it through naturalistic observation, then you would explain what naturalistic observation is. I would go into some of the literature on that. Quote everything. Everything must be quoted. All right. So if you're, taking things off the internet, make sure that you're using, and I'll even put this in here. Please use APA style for any quotes you use. Sorry. No cut and pasting without citation. Okay, that will help you feel more secure with that also. APA is American Psychological Association. You can Google how to do referencing from them. So let's go through. How would you go about answering this research question for each of the two research methods you choose? Be specific and outline the exact procedure you'd use for each method. Identify at least one strength and one weakness. So one strength usually of naturalistic observation, if you're watching children playing violent video games, then you would say a strength is that it's natural. You didn't do anything to cause the behavior, but a drawback is, sorry about the extra hallway noise here. A drawback might be that you don't have any control over what happens. So, how long are you willing to sit and wait doing a naturalistic observation to kind of get enough information that you can draw some conclusions from? You can discuss the reliability and validity. I would get really good definitions of these two terms out of the lessons. If you say according to lesson 2 or whatever, these terms are defined in this way. Or you can go into American Psychological Association website and Google those terms, or you can get them from Khan Academy. Get them from a source that you feel can give you good information. This is finally discussed whether or not each research method you choose would allow for you to make conclusions about causality between violent games and aggressive behavior. So I'm not going to give you too many clues about that. I want you to figure that out. That's part of the challenge of the assignment. But think about that. If you're doing a naturalistic observation, can you draw conclusions between causality? If you do a survey, can you? Or if you do an experiment, can you? And write about that. So I would probably, if I was doing it, I would make sure you hit all of these questions. You might put these even as a, oops, sorry, in a bold print and, as a subhead. I'm not doing the paper, so I don't need that there. And then write your answers underneath. All right, I hope that helps. And I'll see you in the course. Thanks.